Let's take you back now to KwaZulu-Natal, where flood victims are trying to piece their lives back together. The devastating rains damaged roads, bridges, cars and houses. Lives were lost and people are still missing. The government has promised to assist in rebuilding those damaged areas. And we've got eNCA's Lindokuhle Xulu, who's on the ground monitoring the aftermath of what has happened over the last few days. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Lindokuhle. And of course, there have been search and rescue operations, and rather than rescuing, it's more search and recovering missions that have happened, and people are just trying to recover whatever they can to rebuild a little bit of the lives they had before those devastating floods. You're on the ground, and what are you seeing?
Well, it's a multi-phased problem that KwaZulu-Natal faces, especially the residents of KwaZulu-Natal face at this point. We do know that the devastating floods had many implications for them, but you're speaking about people that are still missing. Those rescue missions as well as recovery missions are still ongoing. There's also those that are burying their loved ones. Today, we know that traditionally black people would use the weekends to actually bury their loved ones, but at the same time, there's also a concern about those that are left behind, those that have survived, those that have for the past week been picking up the pieces, but right now it's a matter of rebuilding their lives in terms of just moving forward from these floods. And one of the things that we have been seeing is that, yes, government has declared a national state of disaster. There has been some form of relief that we've been seeing, choppers basically delivering food to certain communities. But I can tell you that in terms of covering the whole area, the whole terrain of the damage, it's something that will take a lot more than government's effort, and that is what we are seeing today at the Apostolic Mission, the Apostolic Faith Mission Church, where they are in fact helping some of the residents here at Lamontville. And I just want to throw straight to Umamuzandile Mapumulo just to get a sense of what will be happening today. We do know that there will be some form of relief that will be brought to some of the residents here. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, Mama, just take us through the damage that we've seen in Lamontville in terms of these floods.
Amen. I'd like to greet everyone, greeting you, Lindokuhle, and the viewers at home, and we thank God for this opportunity. As you've said, that there's a lot of things that has happened in Lamontville, especially during this disaster, of which we've seen as if is not well covered, because we understand our government that is focusing mostly in those areas where there were a lot of damage due to infrastructure in houses. In Lamontville, we have a lot of people ever since this flood started. We as the Church Apostolic Faith Mission Ways of Life, together with our Bishop Thabani Mapumulo, we've done this before because we've been in this church for the last 18 years. So the community is us, and we're in a community, and most of the people who are fellowshipping in our church are from this Lamontville. Right now we have people in days that are being kept there in a hall. We have kids, they don't have shoes, they don't have clothes, they don't have food. So we started this program. Firstly, we had a partnership with Pastor Ukolin Dlomo, where we distributed, and then God opened doors for us. We have CRC, who have also helped us to get this donation. Also, the monies from the church, we said, let us put in for those who are in need. We believe one thing, that we are called for people, and God has called us to help people. Even though we are pastors, one of our role and one of our main function is to make sure this community is helped during this hard time. We have 483 that we distributed in Yellow Park. They have been stationed there, and we have people in days. They're about 600 and something, and in Wema, where we send breads on daily basis, they're about 236. So we're working together with the councillors, because we believe that most people who knows what is happening on the ground are the councillors. Then we have that partnership with them. I would like to state that, Uguti, there's a lot of damage in Lamontville. And what this has shown us is that people are poor. People are suffering, because if you can go even in the places where they are stationed, there are not even the sponges, there are no blankets, even though the government gave. Remember, this is a very huge flood that has happened, and we thank God that there are people who are still alive, but we're feeling a pain also for those families who lost their loved ones, even those who are not found. Even today here in church, we're having a service whereby we'll be praying. After that praying, we'll be distributing the food parcels to those needy ones. As you see here are the others are inside the church, and we've got a lot of people have come to our church.
Let's just very quickly, because you've comprehensively covered what has been happening in Lamontville, obviously falling through the cracks. Government cannot cover everyone, but let's talk about the numbers that you will be serving today. I do know that you are speaking about over 1,000 people that will be receiving these food parcels. What have you prepared, and what is the database telling you about who you will be giving food parcels now?
Okay, thank you very much, Lindokuhle. We and Bishop Tabani Mapumulo, the head of the church, our bishop, we've prepared more than 1,580 based on the list that we got from our councillors. The criteria that we are going to use is, we know that, Lindokuhle, when these things happen, everyone likes to get in and say, I need food, although he or she has not been affected by those floods. The criteria we are going to use, we said we are going to give them a food parcel. In that food parcel, we've got oil, we've got tins, we've got toilet papers, we've got Colgates, we've got meal, we've got flours, we've got sugar, we've got all the tins, your bull brands and all of that, and we also have the pads. Remember, we also have kids that needs pads. So we'll distribute to them, those who've been affected. We know that right now the councillors, you see them around, they are preparing a correct list, because we find that there are also people from locally who heard this program is going to happen. They just come to the church.
All right, let's leave it there for now. I do know that at about 11 we will be witnessing some of the food parcels being handed over. Thank you so much for just updating us on what will happen. But it's these efforts that will certainly help a lot of people, particularly in some communities where a lot of people, including the church at this stage, feel that people are falling through the cracks in terms of the relief that should be brought by government. But we are told that the efforts like these, the efforts from this particular church will go a long way, because they are consolidating that particular database to ensure that these relief packs go to the right people. And we understand that at about 11 we will be seeing people getting these food parcels just to alleviate some of the pressures they are feeling. And it's important things that are in these food parcels, including pads, which is something that they believe should be prioritized when it comes to just making sure that families feel a little bit less pressure when it comes to just recovering, because it is the rebuilding stage of these particular devastating floods that we've seen in terms of the damage being done in KwaZulu-Natal.
And it's absolutely important, Lindokuhle Xulu, because that 350 Rand relief grant that we were getting under the National Disaster Management policy that was initiated with the peak of the pandemic is now having to be applied for. It's not something that is being given away. And so initiatives of this nature are absolutely important. And I'm just wondering, through your engagements that you've had with officials, is there a timeline for this kind of relief to continue to be provided to the communities? I mean, how long are they expected to be receiving these parcels for? Have you been given any kind of indication?
Well, first of all, you speak about a 350 grant that's supposed to be applied for and all of those processes. But one thing is for certain, when you drive around KwaZulu-Natal, you can see that relief is needed, and it's needed immediately. And in fact, the 350 at some point can be insufficient, considering the damage that has been caused by the devastating floods here in KwaZulu-Natal. But one of the things we've been ascertaining as we go around is that many organizations, the church as well, they are trying to go for as long as they possibly can. You speak about gift of the givers. They've been in the province since this has happened, but it's a matter of just trying to go as long as they can in terms of their capacity of being able to help these communities. I can tell you that this church, it's not the first time they've distributed such relief to the community, but they are continuing to do so, saying that they are tapping into their finances to ensure that while there is a need, they try and bring some sort of relief. So in terms of how long this will go on for, I can tell you that some of the organizations we've spoken to are saying that as long as it takes for people to recover, to rebuild, and be able to get back to their normal lives.
No, absolutely. Lindokuhle Xulu will continue to engage you.